My face currently feels like I've been run through by Tom Stewart.
Puts it to the top of the square. Oh, beautiful little fist in there by Dale. Crucial centimetre moments.
He definitely has a bit of the Belcho spirit. As I have a bit of the Belcho spirit.
Happy Wednesday and welcome to the Back Pocket Podcast, the only podcast this week that didn't make headlines for having weird contradictory statements about women and also hasn't called out Bevo yet. This is the Back Pocket. I am Jack and I'm joined by Alistair after a week where my tipping sucked, fantasy sucked, football kind of sucked, and we watched it and here we are. Welcome to the Back Pocket. We've been to the pub. Let's do a podcast.
I would just like to make it clear that neither of those drinks are mine and I actually forgot to open mine. Sorry. Carry on.
All right.
What happens with the Back Pocket? What do we do?
What happens to the Back Pocket? Well, usually we start with votes for the Scarlett Silvagni Medal, which if you've tuned in before, you know how it works. And if you haven't, each week we give our 5 through to 1 votes for the best defenders of the week based on defensive or intercept efforts, spoils, intercepts, CDOs, intercepts, and whatever for a maximum of 10 votes available each round. Sometimes vibes. Most weeks there's at least one vibes-based vote.
I really thought you were going to say, if you've heard the podcast before, you know what we're doing. If you haven't, fuck off.
No, if you haven't, please stay. Anyway, I did the intro. Who's your one vote?
My one vote goes to Jacob Wietering.
One vote, Jacob Wietering. Yes.
Jacob Wietering from the Carlton Blues played a very, very good game on, I've forgotten his first name, Myercheck. Brody. I was going to call him Andy.
Who has an Aquarius tattoo on his forearm and owns a cafe in Melbourne.
Sounds wanky. 2 weeks in a row where Jacob Wietering has completely blanketed his opponent.
And somehow has been criticised for it on programs.
Saying he's not doing enough, apparently.
He has the best contested defensive one-on-one rate in the comp. He's consistently locking down very good forwards and has somehow drawn criticism for that in a backline that's been missing his other two best, other talls. Like, they're going to get McGovern back this week.
And not only just the other two best talls, also the best 3 smalls as well.
Yeah, it's bizarre the criticism he's gotten. He's playing really well.
Yeah, as soon as the soldiers come in around him and get some consistent footy, he'll be lauded.
I don't have a vote for him this week, but I was on the Back
That's why I
Pocket
gave him a
account
week, because why are
defending
people
him on the line this week. I was like, it's back-to-back really good games against genuinely good key forwards. Bizarre stuff. Do you have stats, numbers, Waiter?
Oh, God, no.
Good. We did. All right. My one vote was to fellow defender, Nick Newman.
Okay.
He had 32 disposals at 85%, 9 intercepts, 7 contested, 10 marks, 2 intercepts, 2 spoils, 5 rebounds, 12 defensive half pressure acts, 783 metres gained, 6 score involvements, and 4 of those were launches. Hell yeah, Nick Newman. Welcome back to the votes. I think that's my first one.
It's been a while. Yeah. He was killing it last year.
He really was, especially second half. But yes, one vote, Nick Newman.
Good stuff.
Who's your 2?
My 2 is going to your namesake, Jack Scrimshaw.
Scrimshaw, he was really good. And I believe you said to me, Scrimshaw's not allowed to be good.
I was really hoping you had Scrimshaw because I have not written down stats.
I didn't. I do know that he was very good, especially late in that game when the Bulldogs did look like they were going to finally overrun Hawthorn. He and... Who's the other one? Not Weddle, who was also good.
Weddle was good.
There was another one. Anyway, their backline held up really well, I thought, Hawthorn, for such a young backline. And Scrimshaw finally, although he does it once or twice a year, looked like the player that we kind of thought he was going to be when he got drafted or even when Hawthorn got him for free.
It'd be nice if he could be consistent for them. They need some of that.
I thought he played a really good game in what was a pretty embarrassing day for the Bulldogs. I feel like you're moments away from having some Scrimshaw stats.
Do you mean Hardwick or Frost? Or Nash was in the midfield? I don't know who you were talking about.
No, don't know.
Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, hell yeah, Scrimshaw.
No, stuff it. I got his stats right here. He had 17 disposals. He went at 88%. He had 10 intercept possessions. I don't know how many of those were marks. 10 pressure acts. 3 rebound 50s. 3 1%ers. He went all right.
Yep.
Only 1 kick in. Good on you, Scrimmy.
My 2 votes was to Mark Keane, who I believe you've given a couple of votes to this year already.
He was my 1 until I swapped it around.
Yeah, he had a really good game again. The whole backline was really good again. Like in my special mentions again is Worrell, but Keane had 17 disposals, 10 of those were intercepts. He's contested. 4
Ian
marks,
Warlow,
2
good
intercepts,
combo.
1 contested, 3 spoils, 6 rebounds, won 3 out of 4 one-on-ones, and had 6 defensive high pressure acts. Big game, Keane. Big season, Keane. They're really helping Adelaide kind of stick it together, especially with Duday gone, and then not be able to get Petty, and I feel like that backline's held up far better than what I expected to.
Do I have to do 3?
You have to do 3, I think.
I'm skipping 3.
You skipping 3?
No. I'm just getting the stats up because I didn't write them down. My 3 votes goes to Dane Rampy.
Dane Rampy, he was in my special mentions this week. He did play a really good game, though.
24 disposals, 7 marks. He went at 75%. He had 10 contested, 15 intercept possessions, 5 pressure acts, 488 metres gained, 5 rebound 50s, 6 1%ers. I thought he looked back to his piggish best without actually going huge in AFL fantasy.
I did think that I saw a Sydney fan I'm friends with say about how while he was really good, Sydney genuinely have to prepare for what happens in that backline when he's gone.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because he's been so good for them for so long. But yeah, very good game. My 3 votes, not thanks to Beth, but he is my 3 votes, is to Luke Ryan.
Oh, 3 votes Luke Ryan.
He actually used in my votes. Despite the fact that it was against Richmond, you still have to give votes to a game like that, I think. He had 39 disposals at 87%. 9 of those were intercepts, 7 contested. He had 15 marks, which is mental. 5 intercepts and 1 contested. He had 9 rebounds, 50s and 3 spoils. 628 metres gained. Was involved in a quarter of Freo's scores with 7 score involvements. And 4 of those were launches.
25% of his disposals were kick-in play-ons.
That's crazy.
I
wonder if they were all the score launches. Even if you take them out, he's still like
30 disposals. I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah. Still a massive game. Still really good.
Yeah, 15 marks is huge. But he had 0 marks inside 50. So was he really that good?
He also had 9 intercepts. So
yeah, it's not bad.
Fair shout. Who was your 4?
Darcy Moore.
Darcy Moore in my special mentions.
Oh,
not
wow.
in my votes.
We're not going to go all 5 different. There's
Surely
no chance.
not.
There's no chance.
Do you have some Darcy Moore votes there?
Darcy Moore votes?
Stats, I meant to say.
Yeah, I can get them. He had 14 disposals. He went at 86%. 10 intercepts.
A lot of intercepts, yeah.
224 metres gained. 11 1%ers. He surprisingly only had 1 rebound 50, but he was a wall back there.
He was really, really good.
Whilst their keys kicked goals, it was just being able to intercept general play that won them that game.
I remember watching that and feeling the frustration of you coming next to me on the couch and also the frustration of my own tipping going down the drain. And at one point I said, Jesus Christ, he's good. Like, there was just a couple of points where it's like, it's just frustrating how good he is, even though he's
back,
like
baby.
a really nice guy. And then after the game gives a really good speech and just like seems lovely. Have you seen all the boomers falling for that really badly edited video Collingwood posted this week? It's very funny.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the video of him adjusting his cock on live television. Did you see that?
I did. That wasn't what I was going to talk about. There's this video Collingwood posted their socials of him like quote unquote preparing for an interview with Channel 7. And he like turns and kicks a football and gets swooped by a magpie and the football knocks a lamppost down and it falls on his car. The amount of people who believe it is real is astounding.
Nothing to do with his game.
Also, his acting, terrible.
There's not
In
a single
football?
footballer who
Amazing.
can act. Have you ever seen...
You're probably right.
Was it Bryce Gibbs on
I
Neighbours?
I actually think that Bontempelli in that one Amy ad, pretty good.
Is that the one where he can't get to the stadium?
It's one where he can't get to the stadium on time.
Yeah, I really struggle watching AFL footballers in ads.
Me too. But I think Bont's the only one. Dangerfield terrible. Petrarca
awful.
terrible. Jeremy Cameron terrible.
All of the Cash Converters ads are bad.
Yeah. But I did.
Why are
think
you
Bont was
buying your
okay.
PlayStation from Cash Converters if you're on 800,000 a year?
You could probably get one because you're on the cover of AFL Live 23, Christian Petrarca.
It's getting comped tracker.
AFL 23. You could get that for free, surely. Anyway, my 4 votes this week was to Zach Guthrie, who was very good again. 24 disposals, 11 of those were intercepts, 7 contested, 9 marks, 6 intercepts, 7 rebound 50s, 456 metres gained, 3 score involvements, 1 of those was the launch. He's just having a really good
He's really
season.
good. You're gunning for him to win the award this year, I think.
I you've given him more votes than me the last few weeks.
All right, fair enough.
I think the only player on ground who got more coaches votes than him was Max Holmes, but He was just really good. Again, he's just a good footballer. That's it.
Overall or from...
From that game, yeah.
Okay. Do I have to do my 5?
Yeah,
Jake Lever.
That's my 4. My 5.
Yeah,
My 5.
We're both 5 on Jake Lever.
Because he was incredible.
So we had 4 different and 1 the same.
Yeah, it's crazy. I saw the coaches' votes for that game. One of the coaches gave Lever 5, and the other one gave him none.
We really need to line up on our votes so you can do the stats for me.
You give me yours before the... anyway, Jake Lever had 24 disposals at 83%. 12 of those were intercepts, 7 contested. He had 8 marks, 2 intercepts, 1 contested. He had 6 rebounds and 6 spoils. Won all 4 of his one-on-ones. 510 metres gained. He also, the same as Luke Ryan, had 7 score involvements and 4 launches. But for him, that was more than a quarter of Melbourne's scores with those score launches. He was phenomenal. And without him, Geelong win that game.
He's going to rip Carlton a new one on the weekend. On the weekend
if
tomorrow.
Carlton kick it in against Melbourne the way they did
Today.
against Geelong, Lever will have a field day. Obviously May was also really good, and what's the kid?
Oh, you are talking about... I know his name. Hold on. McVee
Was also good.
He had 11 intercepts, McVee.
They held up really well as a backline, but Lever's just was something else.
Lever took 0 kick-ins.
For special
Just
mentions,
saying.
we already talked about Moore and Worrell. I had Ben Miller in there for Richmond. I had Harry Himmelberg in my special mentions. Jack Buckley.
Tom Barras.
Jack Buckley and Dan Rampe you get votes too. So, I always like it when your votes that I don't give votes to are in my special mentions already. Because
Makes you feel
a
better.
little bit of a lineup there.
There was something I really wanted to talk about when we got over the votes. Now I've forgotten.
All right, if you think about it, we'll try and get back to it. I do think that puts interesting. So Guthrie moves up a little bit in the order there. I don't think that puts anyone in the lead. I think Alex Pearce is still in the lead. So Wiedering will stay in second.
Wiedering second?
Wiedering second. Lever
Jesus.
might jump up
Yeah.
because he did get 10 votes this week.
Alright, I gotta stop giving votes to Wiedering.
I think it was me last week. I gave him 5,
I gave him 4.
and I put us in ripped off coaches' votes. Didn't get any. Anyway, thoughts on the weekend's games? Quick fire.
Oh, I love this. This is my favourite part of the podcast.
Showdown. Adelaide Port.
You never trust a showdown.
They're weird and they're a good rivalry. And I feel like it's gotten to the point.
You know what the real thing I should have said? I'm taking it back. Why the fuck did they play Connor Rozee?
Why the fuck did they play Connor Rozee? It's all good and well for Ken Hinkley to be like, oh, that's my bad. Yeah, it is your bad, you absolute idiot.
He had a hamstring injury. They sent him out a week later to play again, where he
6 days
injures
later.
the same hamstring, which I'm not even convinced was a re-injury. I think it's just it got worse during playing.
And
He's
now they're
gonna miss at
going
least
to
2.
Geelong in Geelong without their captain.
And captain and best player.
Yeah. Incredible fuck up.
And it cost them the game too, absolutely.
Carlton Collingwood.
Collingwood, very good strategically.
Entertaining game. McRae's a good coach. Dacos is a freak. Sydney GWS.
Oh, can I change? Can I?
Yeah.
Fantasia should never play another game of AFL football.
I saw many learn how to speak Tasmanian buddy jokes about Fantasia after that game.
He wasn't dropped, was he, from the teams this week?
I don't think so.
Oh, no, he was.
He was. Oh, thank God.
For the best. Next game.
Sydney GWS.
Rip GWS.
Rip GWS.
I hope Tom Green
What
is
did they
okay.
kick, like 6-2, and then Sydney just stormed over them. Heaney's amazing. Good game.
They scored 5 goals in the first and then 5 for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Sydney scored 2 in the first and then 12 for the rest of the game. So, game over.
St Kilda North.
Yay, St Kilda beat North.
Just.
Oh, they kicked 100 points against North.
Yeah. It almost looked like North's 100-point streak coming to an end, but it hasn't yet, so we're still going. Melbourne Geelong.
Melbourne's defence too good.
All ground wide, everywhere on the ground. They're like I looked through their like pressure acts and tackle stats.
Max Gawn outclassed in the ruck, absolutely. I think their midfield showed up Geelong's midfield, which is meant to happen all
Played
year.
Oliver back, seemingly. He had the most pressure acts.
Just quick impressions.
Like 35 pressure acts, I think. Oliver.
My quick impression is Max Home good.
Max Home's good. West Coast Essendon. What a shame.
What a shame.
What a shame.
Sorry, Zaid.
Sorry, AJ.
My impression is, is it Dersma that's injured? They'll miss Dersma. Essendon will miss Dersma.
I agree. He's been really good for them this year.
Yep, shockingly good.
Richmond Fremantle.
Rip Fremantle. Rip Richmond.
Richmond.
If you have Fremantle score 100 points against you, you're in
done
trouble.
a bad job.
You're in trouble.
Bulldogs Hawthorn.
Sack Bevo.
If you were to be given a slam dunk in a tough situation, you'd be given Hawthorn or North at the moment.
They lost this.
Nick Watson.
They lost to Hawthorn last year as well.
Yeah, I know.
Do you remember?
No, twice last year.
Do you remember Tim English taking the kick out?
They lost to Hawthorn twice last year. Do you remember James Isley taking the kick out and they got tackled from behind while taking the kick out?
Yeah, illegally.
Anyway, they lost to Hawthorn twice last year. I saw someone put up stats and it was like teams' worst last 25 games. No, sorry, last 21 games. And North is obviously the worst with 20-1. But Hawthorn was in there with 7 and whatever, and they were to be fair, 3 of those 7 now are against the Bulldogs.
Yeah. It's not good.
Brisbane, Gold Coast. Gold Coast is my thought on that game.
My thought is they should sage the Gabba. Is that their 6th ACL this year?
I know, and not just ACLs, that was everything that game.
So they lost Duday to an ACL, Kadeem Coleman. Mm-hmm. They lost 2 in this game.
Yeah,
Ashcroft was last year. Is there a 6th?
I feel like there was another one.
There's 5 or 6 ACLs within a period of 6 to 8 months.
It's brutal. The fact that they still won that easily.
Yeah.
With the I think it was the biggest mark discrepancy in a game this year. Abysmal.
Not good.
Brisbane did whatever they wanted with no one.
Maybe they should knock it down.
Fit. Maybe they should. Maybe that's the problem. It's meant to be dead.
And we're going to snipe Brisbane players until it's gone. You thought the power going out was bad. Now we're taking your knees.
They got no generators. They got no knees. They got no flags in 20 years. Pops and flops.
Flops. Brisbane's knees.
Brisbane's knees. We're doing flops first? All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Flops, Tom Hawkins.
Okay, fair enough. My first flop was Brad Scott, read the room.
Yes, that's a big.
My first flop was when you and your CEO have signed a thing saying that you respect women, don't that same day be I think he deserves another chance.
Who's he?
Taron Thomas. I think we should give him another go. Second flop?
I did too. Your second.
My second flop was Gold Coast.
Yep.
If you were ever given a chance to win a Q-Clash, that was it. And it was one of the most insipid performances I've ever seen from an AFL team. I think their performance was more embarrassing than any other on the weekend. And there were some embarrassing performances on the weekend. Do you have a third flop?
Yes, Kane Corns.
Oh, yeah.
Kane Corns
He's
in
a
the
dork.
media
He's a
talking
dork.
about Harley Reid not being prepared for
He's
footy.
a fucking dork.
Harley Reid has played 7 games of AFL
Do you
footy.
reckon Harley Reid takes ice baths?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon he does, yeah.
He has played 7 games of footy and
He's been best on ground in probably 3 of them.
he's cramped up at the end of the game and has continued to fight through that, and he's called him ill-prepared based on no research, and said, and I quote, he should take advice from Jason Horne-Francis. So let's just move on. Kane Corns, you suck.
I don't remember Jason Horne-Francis giving one of the most superb double fend-offs I've ever seen in his first 7 games.
I didn't like the way you kissed your hand. Can you reverse that?
Anyway, my last flop was my fantasy and tipping.
Oh yeah, I got worse tips than you, and I went all upsets. I only got one worse than you, which is crazy.
What were your pops?
Do I have to give any?
Oh, I hope so.
Hawthorn winning a game?
Yeah, okay. Mine was the Logan Morris, Angus Mill and Frappe in between games, playing 8 quarters of football, kicking a goal.
It goes into legend as one of those weird things someone ate before playing and kicking goals.
Angus Mill and a Frappe, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
But after playing a full game, kicking a bag, coming on, kicking a goal, poor guy.
That sounds a lot like a player that would have played in the 70s. You're like, Premiership player Angus Mill and a Frappe.
Yeah, I like that. My second pop, I'll give you time to get ready mentally. Mine was a double fend from Reed. That was so good. Hobbs and Merritt are genuine inside mids, and he's just thrown them away.
Hobbs has been thrown around a little this year, but
Hobbs tried to slap the arm down before it reached, and it still went.
It's crazy how some players can do it.
Reed's a gun. I saw too many players try and do it in that Colts day, though. The amount of 17-year-olds getting caught holding the ball trying to fend off other players in that carnival.
My pop, I guess, is Will Hayward. He's going to get the biggest offers come end of season.
Crazy.
He will have many suitors. And
Apparently Carlton's offered him 6 years.
Yeah, that will be 6 years less money.
They won't
though.
be the only club doing it either.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, we've still got a pop to go, but I think Carlton's money's spread quite a bit thin at the moment. So
My final pop was Jack Buckley with 17 spoils. That is enormous. That's a lot of spoils. Hell yeah, Jack Buckley.
my last pop, and you're not going to be happy with it, is Bailey Fritsch's goal.
It was so good. It was so good.
It
like the
looks
way
so lazy, but it's so
it was
good.
just effortless, and it spun the exact right amount. He's
Sitting
a
there on the
freak.
couch watching that, both of us, the reactions were so different. I was like, holy shit, and you were head in hands like, what the fuck?
Like that, and the Gorn just like step around the man on the mark and bomb it from 60. You can't win those games. All right, game of the week this week.
It's got to be on Super Saturday, right?
So, yeah, shit, a Saturday.
Um,
Are
I-
there 2 Friday games? Am I right there?
There's 2 Friday night games, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's... Why is there 2 Friday night
It's
games?
a great question. I don't know, but I've got 2 on my thing.
Richmond Bulldogs is a game that interests me immensely.
Me too.
Bulldogs need to throttle Richmond,
Yes.
and they should, by all means, throttle
Based on
Richmond.
their list and
But
Yeah.
who knows?
their best. I've got game of the week as Hawks v Saints. I'm very interested to see.
So we've both gone for shitter Saturday games.
We have. I'm very interested to see how Hawthorn show up again with the confidence of winning that game on the weekend. And St Kilda have been pretty average this year.
I think Freo Sydney is my real answer.
Yeah, very good. Adelaide Brisbane, I said to when Beth asked earlier. Adelaide Brisbane's my real answer. I think that both of those teams have played 2 good games this year, and I want to see if either of them can back it up. Yeah, that's it for me. That's my answer.
Sweet. Wrap it up. Let's go home.
We've been waiting for it all year. We talked about it a little bit earlier. We're finally going to see it. We'll see if he's still got that dog in him or not. Tom Hawkins versus Zerk Thatcher or Sav or both.
Yeah. It's the ideal matchup for him, but will they play him?
Last year against Zerk Thatcher, he kicked 8 and 5.
What?
The year before, he kicked 4. His last 6 games against Port, he's kicked 2-2, 4 straight, 2-2, 4-4, 0 and 5, and 6-2. So he
he's getting the
doesn't
shots.
mind a few shots against Port either. It's a really interesting matchup. I think they will play him because they're doing all the promo stuff about him becoming Geelong's equal highest ever games player.
All right.
I'm
And then
really interested to see how it goes because
then they'll
he's
retire
been
him.
well out of form for a few weeks. But I want to know. I want to know how it goes. My other one is that I mentioned this to you as well, but all of the Big Brother teams won, and I'm going to include the Derby from a couple of weeks ago in this. You got Melbourne beating Geelong in the first 2 sides in the comp. You got the Derby Eagles beat Freo. You got the Showdown Adelaide beat Port. You got the Q-Clash Brisbane beating Gold Coast. And they died doing it, but they did it. And in the Sydney Derby, I think they say, Sydney wins. No up and coming wins there, despite the fact that GWS favourites, Port favourites, Freo favourites, Geelong favourites.
You've wrinkled my brain. I don't understand what you're saying anymore.
So all of the teams that came first won, despite the fact that other than Brisbane against Gold Coast, all of the underdogs won.
You were
those
talking
games.
to me about this the other day, and I went, "This is stupid. One of these games happened 2 rounds ago." I said it then. I'll say it again now. Stupid.
How far along are we in the Sack Bevo season?
It won't happen for what? How many games has Bevo's team played? Bevo's
7.
team, 7. 3, 4. Give it another 7 rounds.
Do you reckon they make the bye? No, that's when the...
That's after the bye.
He hasn't quite got full support of the board yet. They just got...
He does. They literally came.
Yeah, but it wasn't a full support of the board statement. It was just one person made their statement. It's not quite there.
The problem for the Bulldogs is their upcoming runs fucked. Apart from this week.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing it up now. So they have Richmond, which should be an easy kill.
Mm-hmm.
Then they play GWS away. They play Sydney, Collingwood, Brisbane, Freo, bye. That's potentially 5 games they could lose. Obviously, Brisbane and Freo are 50-50, I think, at this point. Freo are looking on the up. Their midfield seems to be killing it at the moment. But if they lose all of those bar Richmond, he's gone. There's no chance. I was listening to my favourite little boy, John Ralph, today. He was saying that they've changed the way coach stacking works. So if you've re-signed this year, like Jocelyn Longmuir and Matthew Nix, they get a 12-month payout. They get that 12-month parachute. Bevo's on an old contract, so he only gets 6 months. So it is within their best interest to not re-sign him because they would have to pay him less to get rid of him. Mm-hmm. If he turns it around, great, keep him. But they shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't.
It's been well documented. No top 4 finishes over the course of his entire coaching career. Has made 2 grand finals, which is awesome. 1-1. Depending on who you ask, rigged.
Despite winning inside 50s clearances, possessions.
Rigged. Jack.
It was just the umpiring. Because as we know, if one thing is a true indicator of how the game went, it's the team that got less free kicks should have won.
You're telling me a team with Shane Biggs is going to win the premiership and not the team with
Kurt Tippett?
Buddy Franklet?
Buddy Franklet. Kurt Tippett.
That's the one in the Little Legends ads, Buddy Franklet.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
What were we talking
Do you reckon
about?
they put those kids in bald caps or they shape their heads?
Bald caps. You're not shaving a kid's head.
You could.
You could, absolutely, but that's not
I think
good
you
for
should.
them. That's not good. Go back to the schoolyard and they're like, haha, baldy. It's
Yeah,
like,
but then
no,
I
I
see
did
them-
it. I'm Gary Ablett in the ad, and they're like, yeah, sure you are.
Then they see them in the ad, they go, oh. The Gary Ablett showed up to that kid's school, did you know that? For show and tell? He came in to be like, show and tell I was in the ad, and he didn't know Gary Ablett was coming in.
It was a quick cover up to be like, sorry, we shaved this kid's head. Here's proof that it wasn't. He doesn't have cancer. He's Gary Ablett's double. Same height.
Yeah. That poor Dusty double had to get that awful, like...
They taught him how to use
like
chopsticks.
top shave at the time. I hear that kid owns a lot of real estate in the West Melbourne area.
His dad lives in New Zealand. They're going to transfer him to a school on the Gold Coast at the end of the year.
Do you reckon the Sam Draper kid starts saying inflammatory shit about his, like, other teachers at his school and the students in their classes now? Or?
Oh, he's really good at doing the worm.
We need to get a Nick Larkey kid on who's really good at impersonations. Did you see his Rafa Nadal one?
Nah, but I would really love to see a kid impersonator of Nick Larkey doing the Damo impersonation.
Because I love you, Lordo.
Stop.
It got me so good.
You can't even... talking about... Bevo, he's got until the bye.
He's got to the bye.
If he wins 2 of those games against the top 8 fancies, Brisbane I'm considering in there because of their status last year, he's got a chance to stay. But the players need to show it for him. He's potentially without Libba for the rest of the year. Forever.
Seeing him cop 2 big hits in that game was brutal.
Yeah,
and the way
the
he
boot
was,
one's rough.
The way he was, like, could barely pick himself up off the floor after the second one.
It's a really rough one. You don't want to see legends of the game go out like that. But people
4
will
and
say
12 months now, concussions.
4 and 12 months. I think they listed it as 5 total though.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's been concussed a lot, but we've had 4 in such a short span.
Yeah.
And it's when it gets to the Nathan Murphy, Paddy McCartan ones, where it was such innocuous knocks and they just fall over and they're gone. Nathan Murphy couldn't last 2 minutes in a football game before getting concussed.
That Tom McCartan one was sickening.
Yeah, Paddy.
No.
Oh, this weekend?
It was horrible.
Yeah.
I don't think there was much malice in it.
Of all the people who could get horribly concussed, that's one that I
McCartan?
don't want. Yeah. All right? That would ruin Sydney too.
Yeah. Anyway, Beverton's bye. I agree.
I'm glad you agree. I gave a detailed listing and you just go, yeah, sure, I agree. That's what I should do on the podcast. I'm not even going to do votes next week.
Oh. I know that it was, like, inconvenient that the AFL decided to respect women for once. And
they chose to do it in the round where...
Carlton was going to get Robert Williams to call into the MCG. But there was nothing more jarring. I was in my car, by the way. So I'm not watching this yet. I'm like driving home from the gym, trying to get home in time for the game to start. And we get the minute of silence, which is a weird thing to listen to on the radio in the car.
And then a minute of Robbie Williams.
It did sound like the guy said, we are divided in respecting women. I'm not sure if he actually
Brad
said
Scott's
that.
divided.
He is. So like they do the minute silence. And then they're like... And phoning in from London is Robbie Williams. And I was like, fucking Robbie Williams? And then, like, I thought maybe he was going to say something about violence against women. I didn't know it was a Robbie Williams cancer match thing. And then, like, he just
got anything to do with Robbie Williams.
does this, like, whatever. And then just, they play Angels? It was very weird.
You can blame Sam Doherty for this one. He organised it, apparently.
It was so odd. And it was like here's your 1 minute for women, and now 5 minutes of Robbie.
To be fair, this cancer game's played every single year.
I know.
It's like if they randomly decided to respect women in Anzac round, right?
Or this week for the Danaher.
Yeah.
No, not
the Big Freeze.
Yeah, Big Freeze.
It's just inconvenient timing. I'm glad they took this moment to respect women, but the AFL needs to put their foot down about certain things, e.g. Taryn Thomas.
They're like, and then New South Wales is like, we're going to open our Hall of Fame. We're going to make Wayne Carey a legend. And they're like, no, just make him Hall of Fame. No, nothing at all.
It was good photos though from when they had the lights off and all the phone cameras.
It was very good. And I heard a lot of people saying that were like at the games that like it was like they went in cynically thinking what AFL fans are like, that there would be like grumbly old fucking idiot bogan men talking shit about it, but like it was genuinely everyone respectfully quiet, which like is something I think. But I felt like that, you know, the Simpsons bit with the baseball with the, do you want the ugly truth or do you want to see me hit some dingers? And it was like, do you want the ugly truth or do you want to hear some bangers? And then it's just Robbie Williams playing Angels.
Bangers?
And then after that, they're like, what if, I know we respected women last week, but what if after the men win the grand final, we give them all a ring worth what most women's players get paid for a season?
Did you see was it a hypothetical design or was that an AI design? It was horrible.
Horrible. But also, that's what some of the women players get.
Some of them don't even get that much.
For a season. I don't think... And then it's also like
Why does it have to be that expensive?
And then it's also like we have to have a night grand final because we're really poor.
Why not give them like a very cheap ring and a $40,000 bonus for winning a premiership?
But like, you could make a ring that just looks cool, and its value is the fact that you got it from winning a grand final. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I think the value of the
and then
ring...
Buckley would have to sell it in his divorce.
How many of those would be pawned over time, right?
Yeah, by Nathan Buckley in his divorce.
So, like, I think about Marlon Pickett, right? He came in, played his first game in a grand final. He would have won a ring that could have been worth $50,000. If they just give them a regular ring, it doesn't have to be cheap. It can be a regular, like, whatever you want, silver, gold, whatever, I don't care. And then give them a match bonus for winning a grand final. Mm-hmm. The club gets a bonus for being top four, right? Or for the last four. Final. And win the grand final. Give the players a monetary bonus. Because if that had been his last game ever, he's getting one match payment.
It is weird that he is still playing.
Yes. I don't think we've addressed this on the podcast, have we?
It's weird that a man with, like, very legitimate burglary charges, with, like, a full, like, plan to commit and, like, fully aiding and abetting, will almost definitely be going to prison at, like, the end of this year or the start of next, is just playing football in the meantime.
It's very strange.
Like, I'm not saying that, like, we have to stop giving people who are going to prison jobs. Like, I whatever. It just feels odd. It feels very odd that our stance on some things is like, you did one thing wrong, now you're never playing again. And it's like, well, most people are pretty confident that you helped commit several robberies. But until that goes to court, we're just going to keep you going.
Yeah, well, they're clearly not trying to arrest him because he played against West Coast like 3 rounds ago in
Last
WA.
year the conspiracy was he didn't come to WA because he was going to get arrested. But no, they're just waiting for the court.
He played, rocked up, had 13 disposals at 50 and they lost by 30 points.
Frankly, he is a bit down on last year's form. But he was, we already knew about it last year. So
yeah, it's such a strange one. Anyway.
It is odd. Hey, look, maybe he gets found innocent and we all get proven, or found not guilty, I think is the actual. We all get proven wrong. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case from everything that's been reported on it.
Oh, we'll see.
We will. We will.
I don't think I have much else.
Neither do I.
It's going to come to me after we finish the podcast.
Yeah, the thing you wanted to talk about after the votes.
I really wanted to talk about this, but it's gone.
Will running through the votes help you? Yeah.
No.
No?
Not at all. You look like you're going to... I'm getting staunched right now.
Getting staunched.
Yeah, football, hopefully it's good this week. It won't be.
It won't be, because every time we expect it to be good.
Maybe that shitful Saturday will have some good stuff.
It'll probably be good, right? That's the... Yeah. Like
the day
I said,
I'm not watching footy.
You said I was wrong, and I said GOAT time slot, Sunday afternoon.
What was the GOAT slot?
Bulldogs Hawthorn.
Did I say GOAT slot?
GOAT slot.
We need to end the podcast. We're fucking losing it.
If you want a goat slot, Sunday afternoon. No, the goat slot is Sunday afternoon.
That's what you
It
said.
doesn't matter what you put there. For some reason, it's a good game.
All right, what is it this week?
Because it was a Sunday night game, and that sucked. The Brisbane Gold Coast game,
Yeah, that did.
worst game of the weekend.
So you reckon Adelaide Brisbane? That's the one you picked game of the round. You're
Oh,
really
it is too.
pushing this, huh?
I didn't mean to, but it's in the time slot.
Next week it's Port Hawthorn, so look forward to that one.
Look forward to a weird Hawthorn.
I'm so far away from the mic. I already signed out.
Look forward to a weird Hawthorn competitive performance the weekend after, because it's the go time. No, oh yeah, because the Perth one's that's 4:20 our time. That's twilight here. So there's 2 goat time slot games that week.
No, there can't be 2 goats.
West Coast Melbourne might be the game.
You can't have 2.
You don't know. West Coast
It's
Melbourne
greatest
might be it.
of all time.
West Coast beat Melbourne in Perth. Ramifications.
Would be great. But it would be even better if
Ramifications,
they lost
not
2 in a row.
ramifications, but
Stop. End of podcast. Good night.
bye.